Welcome to your cathedral. I'm Father Greg Sakowitz. Father Marek just paid for a 12-month gym membership. The bank called him to see if his credit card had been stolen. Father Marek is shaking his head, but that one is pretty funny. I'll nail myself. I got up this morning and ran 5 times around the block. Then I got tired, so I picked up the block and put it back in the toy box. Folks, I'm giddy right now, okay? Be patient with me, but those are pretty funny. Special thanks to, again, Mark Teresi, David Jonas. Beautiful music, beautiful playing with the piano, beautiful singing, Christmas season. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, David. Special thanks to Father Mark, producer Smolka, who puts up with my jokes, shakes his head a lot, wants to walk away. He's got to handle the camera. So Father Mark Smolka doing a tremendous job this whole Christmas season, all the masses, the work you do with the radio or the television, the video production. So thank you very much. Someone once shared this story. An older, tired-looking dog wandered into my yard some years ago. I could tell by his collar he was well-fed, he had a home, I could tell he was well cared for. He calmly walked over to me. I gave him a few pats on the head. He then followed me into my house, slowly walked down the hall, curled up in the corner of our hallway, and fell asleep. About an hour later, the dog woke up, went to the door, and I let him out, and he presumed went home. The next day, the dog was back. I greeted him in my yard, patted him again. He walked into my house, resumed his spot in the hall, fell asleep for about another hour. This continued almost every day for a couple of weeks. So curiously, one day, I pinned a note to the dog's collar, and it read, "I would like to find out who the owner of this wonderful dog is, Sweet Dog, and ask you if you are aware that almost every afternoon your dog comes to my house and he takes a nap." The next day, the dog arrived back at the house for his usual nap, but now a new note was pinned onto his collar. It said, "He lives in a home with 6 children. 2 are under the age of 3. He's just trying to catch up on his sleep. By the way, can I also come over tomorrow and join him?" I think there are times in our lives, especially maybe now, we can all relate to that dog owner and the dog. How quickly the last 2 weeks have flown. We are still in the midst of our Christmas season on this, the Feast of the Epiphany, as we begin 2021. Despite COVID-19, and hopefully new start, new beginning, and an end to COVID-19. In the story of the Magi, their search and their journey is really our search and journey. It occurred to me the Feast of the Epiphany speaks of 3 movements: the direction of our lives, the busyness of our lives, the connections of our lives. What about the direction of our lives? As many of you know, Epiphany means appearance or revelation. It means a showing, a direction for our search. And very interestingly enough, the scriptures imply it's a search that everyone must make. Luke in his gospel has the poor searching in the form of shepherds. Matthew in his gospel has the learned and the rich searching in the form of magi. So the message is that there is a room for everybody in the search for life's deepest meaning and purpose, from no degrees to PhDs, from executives to shepherds. And so too the Magi. They are 3 searchers who do not find the answer to the life in their horoscope's meaning, but took a long and difficult journey to another country in search of the Christ child. But first, for all believers, as for the wise men, there has to be a church. There has to be a search. Pascal once wrote, there are only three kinds of people in the world: those who have sought God and found him. Secondly, those who are seeking God and have yet not found him. And thirdly, those who neither seek God nor find him. The direction of our lives includes searching and questioning. And again, those three kinds of people seeking meaning in life or searching in life: those who have sought God and found him, those who are seeking God and have not yet found him, and those who neither seek God nor find him. I'd like to share with you a question from a 4-year-old girl who wrote me about 15 years ago when I was pastor at St. Mary of the Woods. Here is her little letter to me, 4 years old. Big, large print. It says, "Dear Father Greg, Happy New Year. This is my first letter ever. I wonder, are you Jesus' dad? Love, Katie." The answer is no. And all of you thought the other priest and Cardinal Supich in the rectory were old. Daniel Berrigan once wrote a wonderful little book entitled The 10 Commandments for the Long Haul. It was intended as spiritual food for those who search, who seek direction and meaning in their lives. Here are 10 beautiful commandments written for all of us. Commandment number 1, acknowledge our helplessness. We are the creature, not the creator. Proper living begins with the words, I am not God. Commandment number 2, pray prayers of helplessness, gratitude, and praise. Pray from our weaknesses. Lord, do for me what I cannot do for myself. Commandment number 3, welcome and accept the present moment. Life is what happens to us while we're planning our life. Don't let the pressures of life steal the present moment from us. If happiness not now, when? If happiness not now, when? Commandment 4, give yourself permission to be inadequate. Don't be too hard on yourself, and especially on others, and especially during this time of COVID-19. God does not keep us from falling and failing, but God always forgives us when we do. Great line worth repeating. God doesn't keep us from falling and failing, but God always forgives us when we do. Please remember that. Commandment number 5, if we're critical without being loving, we're destructive. If we're loving without being firm, we're weak. Commandment 6, forgive your past. Forgive your past. Commandment number 7, always imitate Christ. Number 8, bathe in the goodness of life. We have divine permission to be happy. Number 9, accept aging. I'm working on that one. Accept aging. Aging is an art form. And commandment number 10, serve the right God. Don't bow to any false god created in the image and likeness of our own tensions and bitterness. The direction of our lives is connected with the busyness of our lives. A priest once who worked with the late St. John the 23rd in the Vatican said to the Pope, if you knew Jesus is coming today, what should we do? And Pope John the 23rd responded, look busy. Busyness and loneliness lie at the very center of our lives. Feeling too busy, lonely, restless, and set apart isn't something we experience at the very edge of our lives. Many times we're too busy, lonely, restless, trying to connect the mystery of God with our lives. We are not restful beings who occasionally get restless. Rather, we are restless beings who occasionally experience some rest. What is my inner disposition? What is your inner disposition? John the Baptist points to Jesus, and the Magi point to the Christ child. Jesus points to God his Father. In and with my life, who am I pointing to? Busyness can so focus us on making a living, we forget about making a life. The direction of our lives and the busyness of our lives will determine the convictions of our lives. Our beliefs lead to choices, and our choices determine our convictions. At times, see Mother Teresa of Calcutta inserted in her letters a small printed card stating, "Without prayer, no faith. Without faith, no love. Without love, no service. Without service, no joy, no peace." Thus, there are 4 essential steps: prayer, faith, love, and action. Prayer, faith, love, and action, resulting in interior joy and peace in our lives and who we are. Convictions always translate into actions. The Feast of the Epiphany means finding Christ is not a one-time thing. Rather, finding the Lord is a lifelong quest. As we start 2021 together, a brand new year, Christ reveals himself in so many different ways. The challenge for us, as part of the direction, busyness, and convictions of our lives, is to let the Lord find and lead us. May God bless all of you. Stay healthy. And please, dear God, I don't like the Green Bay Packers at all. May the Bears finally beat the Green Bay Packers. Amen.
We 3 kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar. Field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us.